Hey y'all, welcome to Camirra's Kitchen. Today we are making the best strawberry cobbler, strawberry pie, whatever you want to call it. As long as you call me when it's done, baby, that's when we making, okay? Now this one is for the crust lovers. If you like that biscuity crust that's nice and sweet and just has all the juices from the berries all sopped up in it, then this is the one for you. Now I am using 4 pounds of just some regular store-bought strawberries. Okay, now if you go strawberry picking, especially this time of year, we all know that's the best, but you know, okay. Now I have one pink lady apple. That's my secret ingredient, okay? I'm going to be adding that to the mixture as well. Now, of course, first off, I'm going to cut off the tops. Now, you better not be cutting off too much of that strawberry meat. Some of y'all just be wasting it about cutting the strawberry in half just to get that little leaf off. Don't do that. Now, this is all of my strawberries once they are all topped. And I'm going to take ones that are about this size and I'm going to cut them in half. All the other ones I'm going to just leave whole if they're about that size. I don't want to cut them up too much. You could also cut them into fourths. It really depends on how juicy you want your cobbler. I feel like when you cut them smaller, it gets a little bit juicier. Now, the apple is going to add a little bit of thickening to this cobbler. The pectin in apples is a natural thickener, so using just a little bit of it in the cobbler is going to not only give it a nice taste, but it's going to add a little bit of thickening. Now, you don't want this to be all, big chunks of apple. So go in there with a grater and just grate up your apple. Now, really, you could even use half an apple, but I ain't going to have the other half just rotting in my fridge. We're going to put the whole thing in there. To make the topping, I am taking 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and I'm also adding 1 cup of sugar. I'm then going to put in a teaspoon of baking powder as well as a teaspoon of kosher salt. A little bit of nutmeg is going to add a nice flavor. I'm only putting in about 1/4 of a teaspoon, but I promise you it does make a difference. If you don't have nutmeg, just use about 1/4 of a teaspoon of cinnamon. This is 1 stick of unsalted butter. It is straight out the fridge, but it is not frozen. And I'm going to take it on the side of a box grater just so I can, put it into clumps. Now, if you have a pastry cutter, you can use that, but I ain't got that. Now, when you get to the end of the butter, look, don't try to be a hero and grate your fingers off. Don't do that. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. It's not that big a deal. Just throw it in to the flour and go ahead and break up the rest of it with your hands. Now you can take your hands and just quickly work the butter into the flour mixture and cut everything up there as evenly as you can get it. Once it's all mixed in, I am going to take 1/2 cup of buttermilk. I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. The vanilla adds a great flavor to the crust. I'm then going to make a whale. I prefer to do this, especially if I'm going to mix with my hands. I'll make a little whale and add the milk and also 1 egg. Now, you can use a spoon to do this, but sometimes, look, I'm a country girl. Sometimes you just got to get your hands up in there, and just feel the food and just do what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? So use a spoon or use your hands. Wash your hands if you use your hands. Y'all know how to cook, okay? I don't even need to tell y'all. The people that follow me, y'all know what to do, okay? Now, once this has just been combined, we ain't kneading it and nothing like that, okay? I'm then going to get out my baking pan and I am going to add in all my strawberries. And then I'm going to put on 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. And I'm going to add my sugar. I'm going to add half the sugar now and the other half after I mix it. In total, I used about 1 1/4 cups of sugar. But really, it's dependent on how sweet your strawberries are. If you have some really fresh, sweet strawberries, you may only need 1 cup. Okay, so that really just depends. I'm then going to add in my apple, and then I'm going to put in the rest, some more of my sugar, a little pinch of salt. Okay, this is like 1/4 of a teaspoon. And then I'm going to add in 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. The acid in the lemon is going to bring out the flavors in the strawberries. And it's going to give it a nice taste, but it won't taste lemony. I'm then going to mix this up. And then I'm going to proceed to add 2 more tablespoons of cornstarch, as well as the other half of my sugar. If you have some strawberries that are not as sweet, then you may even need 1.5 cups of sugar. It's all going to depend on how sweet your berries are. Now, if you've liked this video so far, please go ahead and give me the thumbs up, honey, and go ahead and subscribe because you know we cooking around here. Okay. Now, I am then going to add on my topping. I'm going to use my spoon just to get up tablespoons of this topping, and I'm going to place it on. Don't worry if it doesn't cover up all the gaps. It's going to puff up. And then I'm going in with some more butter. I'm taking about 3 tablespoons of butter that I have cut up, and I'm just going to put it all around the cobbler and then just put on 1 tablespoon of sugar. All of this butter is going to add a richness. I'm then going to bake this at 375 for 45 minutes until it is nice and bubbly and golden, and those juices are just delicious, honey. Let this sit for about 10 minutes, before you cut into this. Don't let that greedy spirit get you. You're going to burn your mouth, okay? Now, guys, if you try this recipe, let me know in the comments. I hope you know that I love you and Jesus loves you. And I'll see you next time on the Camirra's Kitchen. Goodbye.